Hello, Year 3 and Year 4, and welcome to Maths on Tuesday, the 2nd of February, 2021. We're going to start off by marking the work that we did yesterday. So, on the screen now, you have the work, which is the spicy, then we have the spicier, and finally the spiciest. So, using the question numbers that we used yesterday, because I know you were working and writing down the question numbers as they were, so not starting with number 1, starting with 5A, mark your work now. Okay, well done. Remember, if you marked your work and found that you got most of them right, but you got 1 or 2 wrong, do have a look at the ones you got wrong. See what the correct answer was. See how they might have worked out to get the correct answer. Okay, that's always a really important thing that we do when we're marking our work. Let me choose a little pen. So I've got my pen up. Okay, learning objective today is to divide 2 digits by 10. So we're looking at 2-digit numbers and we're dividing them by 10. Could you pause the video, write down the date and learning objective on a fresh page now? Okay, good. For our little starter today, we are going to look at capacity in these jugs. Okay, so look at the amount on the scale of the jugs. See if you can work out how many milliliters the jugs are filled up to. Okay, so working with capacity, how many milliliters are these jugs filled up to? Just have a look at that screen there. It's a little bit bigger. Hopefully it's easier for you to read the scales on the jugs. Write down your books, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and how many milliliters you think is in each one. So pause the video on this one that's a little bit bigger. Well done. Remember, when we're looking at things like this, if you get a chance, you'll probably find in your kitchen at home, you've got some jugs. A little jug like this that is used in the kitchen for measuring out water. It may not have one scale down the side. It may have many scales down the side here. It might show you milliliters and liters. It might also show you pints as well. It might show you fluid ounces. So have a go with some water if it's safe to do so and you've got permission, and see what you can see about capacity and how much capacity there is. Remember, yesterday we looked at my pen lid, my little pen lid, and thought that that might have a capacity of perhaps, I don't know, 5 or 10 milliliters. Okay, maybe look at some other things in the kitchen and see how much capacity they have. That is how many milliliters or liters they have inside them. Okay, before we get started on today's lesson, I want to remind you to have a look up the MathSpot manipulatives. I've typed it on the screen here, so you can do a Google search for MathSpot manipulatives, and what you'll find there is a screen like this. Manipulatives, MathSpot. And they're going to be very useful today. There's 2 things that are going to be useful today. If I scroll down, I can see that we've got, where are they now? It's interesting. I had these up. Counters for place value. They're going to be very handy today. Okay, can we just have this back again? There we go. So when we're using place value counters, they're very useful when we are doing our learning today. So what you need to do is go to this one where it says counters at the top here that's flashing, and I think we can go down to tenths, which is 0.1, and the big number on the other end of the scale, we only need to go to 10 at the most. So if I click this one and I select 10 with no dot, no decimal point, and now I can see that I've got up on the screen, I've got tens here, which I can drag across, and I've got tenths that I can drag across, and I've got units or ones that I can drag across as well. Okay, so they're going to be useful today. Show over here, where it says show, at the moment it says none. What would probably be useful for you to do will be to have a table. So if I click on table, it gives me a table that shows tens, units, and tenths. And remembering in between the tenths and the units here, you would have a decimal point. You'd have a decimal point, a little dot that goes down here on this line that shows the difference between those. So you can drag them across. Tenths, where are they going to go? Yep, in here. Units will go in here, and the tens, look how they're different, go over here. So this number, if I was writing it in my book, would be 110, 1 unit, and 1/10. So it would be a 10 and a 1 makes 11.1. This would be 12.1. So using that one today is going to be very handy. And the other one that you will find useful today might be the Dean's blocks here in the middle, Dean's blocks. You'll remember using these where you actually pick them up and move them around. So you might want to make numbers. If I just move myself out of the way for a moment, you might want to make numbers using these because we represent different numbers. Here we've got now 2. Wait, drag that across. I could put that up there. So now I have 102. Pop some tens in. Move this across a little bit so I've got a bit more space. What number have I got now? 132. So we'll be looking at these Deans. We'll be looking at also the place value counters like this as we do our work. And if you have these screens available, that's much better. Okay, so let's look at what we are doing today. Right, first of all, it says, let me try that over there from change. Match the place value grids to the numbers they represent. So this is a matching task. That means you're going to have to get your pencil or pen or write them out in their correct pairs. Okay, so we're matching one side to the other. If I thought this matched up to there, then I would draw a line to show the difference. To show the match. So I'm going to read the top one, and it says here, tens I've got 3, ones I've got 4. I've got no tenths and I've got no hundredths. And remember, here is my decimal point. It's always there in between the ones and the tenths. So I've got 3 tens, which is 30, and 4 ones. So I think this is 34. Here I've got no tens and I've got 4 ones. That's just 4. And I've got 3/10. And again, the decimal point is in the middle here. So I've got 4 ones and I've got 3/10. And by working it out like that, by looking carefully at the place value grids over on this side of the screen, I can very simply see that this one is going to match up to there. This one is going to match down to there. So this one should go to the middle. But I'm going to check. What have I got? 3.4, 3 ones and 4 tenths. Here I've got my ones column, and there are 3 of them and 4 tenths. So sometimes you're going to have to match up some work. Well done. Did we get it? Yep, we got it. Brilliant. Look at the number below. Divide this number by 10 and share your answer on the grid below. Divide this number by 10 and share your answer on the grid below. So first of all, we're going to have to think, what number is this? We've got 4 tens and 2 ones. Okay, and this is where you might find it useful to divide it by 10 on the grid below to use these here. So I could take 4 tens like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tens are 40, and the other thing that we had was 2 ones. Let's put my 2 ones in. And I've got to divide it by 10. Now, when we divide by 10, it's going to be getting, it's It's going to be getting smaller. Let me just take a quick sip. One sec. And we're back. Not brilliant, but back. It's going to be getting smaller. So we move everything across to the right-hand side of the screen, where I am at the moment, over here, one place. So the units are going to move across there, and the tens are going to move across there. So we end up having 1, 2, 3, 4 units and 2 tenths. So it's going to be 4.2. So if we're doing it here, what I would have to do is I would have to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 there. And I could write the numerals as well if I want to, 4.2. There we go. They've done the dots or the discs. So showing the answer in the place value chart. Here is another matching task. You have to match the calculations and answers. So we're talking about dividing by 10 again. Everything will be getting smaller. Remember, division is about sharing. If you're sharing something out, it's going to be a smaller number. We've got 9.4 divided by 10, 26 divided by 10, and 58 divided by 10. Can you see how it works? Exactly. They all have one decimal place now. 58 is there. 26 becomes 2.6. And 94 becomes 9.4. Can you see the pattern? They all have one decimal place. They've become smaller numbers. In fact, each of these numbers is now less than 10. If you think about it, they are all less than 10. And over here, they are all greater than 10. So definitely getting smaller. Well done. Yay, we got it. True or false? 3.4 equals, and we've got we've got 3 of these rods here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got shared or dividing by 10. 3.4 equals this image divided by 10. Now you may remember using these. They're fantastic. If you don't have any at home, which I wouldn't be surprised, you can draw them out here. So I could take out these. How many will I need? I've got 3 of the long ones and I've got 4 ones. So if I take that out now, I need a couple more ones. Can I have a couple more ones, please? Boom, boom, boom. Whee. So actually, I've got my 3 here already. Come on. Sorry, this screen's being a little bit slow. Can I take that? There you go. So I've got 3.4. Don't need that 100. So what they're saying is, if this number, which is 3 tens, so that's going to be 30, 4 ones, so the number is 34 divided by 10, is that going to give us an answer of 3.4? So 34, this is the number 34, and divided by 10 equals 34. Sorry, not 34, it's 3.4. Pay attention, Mr. Bowes. What do you think? Exactly, it is true. Saying true or false, it is true. Remember the equal sign shows us that whatever is on one side of the equal sign has to be the same as the other side. So whether we switch it round, so we have 34 divided by 10 equals 3.4, that's what it would look like. So we can say 34 divided by 10 equals 3.4. Sorry, running out of space there. We can see that that's correct. So it's true. Okay. Complete the calculation below. We have a 10 and we have how many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4. A 10 and 5 ones. So altogether, I need to think if I've got 1 10 and 5 ones, my number altogether is 15. divided by 10 equals, let's have a think. 15 divided by 10 equals. Exactly. We saw this yesterday on the Gatinago chart, that chart that showed what happens when you divide numbers by 10. Something like 15 would end up being 1.5. So it's getting smaller. It's getting 10 times smaller. So on the place value, it turns into 1.5. Right, use your knowledge of dividing two-digit numbers by 10 to find the odd one out. So we're looking for the odd one out, and we've got to explain our reasoning, explaining what we think. So we've got three different ones, and one of them is going to be the odd one out. So there's one here, which is A. We've got B here, and finally we've got C, which is simply 42. So if I look at A, there's two red dots, and they seem to have covered up 20, and that's going to be a 20, and that's going to be 4. So I'm saying that A is showing us 24. B is showing us 4 and 2 tenths, 4 ones and 2 tenths. So the B is going to be 4.2. Now, which one is the odd one out? They're all different numbers. I've got 24, 42, and 4.2. Which do you think is the odd one out? Yeah, I'm going to go with the 24. I think that's the odd one out because 42 and 4.2 are the same thing. If you divide 42 by 10, you get 4.2. If you divide 42 by 10, you get 4.2. So I think the odd one out is 24 because the digits are the other way around. So we've got to explain our reasoning. Let's have a look. A is the odd one out. Yep, 24 is the odd one out. And here it's written in red because C divided by 10 equals B. So we're saying that this one divided by 10 is going to be the same as B over here. Good. Okay, time for your work. Remember, there are going to be 2 screens of the spicy work and 2 of the spicier work. Let's have a quick look together first. Question 1A, 1B, then 2A, 2B. 1A says, look at the place value grid below, divide the number by 10 and share your answer on the grid below. So you've got to show your answer on this grid underneath. You're going to have to draw a grid like this in your book perhaps. And you can work it out on your MathSpot website if you want to, because you've got 2 10s and a 1 there. Go for your maths, guys.
Hey guys, hope you do well on your maths.
That's great. Mr. Lacey just popping here to get some things and wishing you all the luck with your spicy work in maths today. We've got, as I say, the answer is going to be down here. And you can use these. So if we've got 2 10s and a 1, I could actually say, get rid of all this. Actually, can I tidy that up? I've got 2 10s and I've got a 1 there. If I'm going to divide those by 10, they're all going to get smaller. That means I'm going, this 1, I've got to move across into the 10ths column. And if it moves into the 10ths column, I can actually make it look like a 10th. This is 1/10. It says 0.1, so I'm going to cover that up. And these 2 10s, they've got to move into the units column. And if they're in the units, they need to look like units. So again, I can cover those up. So I'm dividing by 10 by moving things from the left-hand side of the screen over to here, to me on the right-hand side, by 1 box. So my answer now is going to be 2.1. Okay, and you can show that on this. There we go. You can show that on here. 2 1s and 1/10. So have a go at those. You've got matching for question 2A and 2B. You've got a second screen of the spicy work, true or false, and complete the calculation below. It's giving you a number in the picture here, and it's saying if you took that number and you divided it by 10, what would your answer be? Yeah, you took this number here, you divided it by 10, what would the answer be? That's the spicy work. Well done. Get on with that now. You can then move on to the spicier work. Look at the number below and divide this number by 10 and share your answer in the grid below. So this number, you've got to think out, what is this number? 2 10s and 3 1s. That's it. It's going to be 23. And it says divide it by 10. So we're doing the same thing each time. We're taking 23. In this case, we're dividing by 10. We're taking this number, whatever you think it is, and dividing it by 10. Here's a matching task, which you've done in the example with me. Matching things. Take me off the screen so you can see it. And there's one more page of spicier work, looking at true and false, and completing the calculations again using these representations. Remember to use the correct question numbers. If it's 7 or 8, A and B over here. Make sure you use those so you know what you're doing when you're marking. I'll just go back so that you can look at the screens and pause the video. Spicy work, pause the video to do that. And the second section of the spicy work, pause the video. Okay, spicier, moving on. Extra challenge for you. Pause the video. And the second screen of the spicier work, have a go at this. Well done. Now, if you want to, you can get onto the spiciest, okay? If you'd like to go for the big challenge, you may go for the spiciest. Then watch these puzzles now. It says, use the cards to complete the number sentence. Find 3 possibilities. The number sentence. Number sentence, sometimes we say equation. This down here is the number sentence. We've got some division, and we've got equals here. Now, today we've been doing a lot of division by 10, okay? Everything we've been doing is dividing by 10. So I'm going to suggest that you're probably going to have to put this down here. So we are small numbers I'm looking at now and big numbers. I've got numbers like 72, and can you see its partner? Exactly, 7.2. If I change color pens, if I look at 53 and its partner is 3.5. Oh no, not 3.5. I've switched it round. Let's get rid of that. Is 5.3. There's the partner. So if they're getting smaller every time, I could, for example, take my 53. I could divide it by 10, because that's what we're doing today. We're dividing everything by 10, and it's going to end up as 5.3. It says find 3 possibilities. So I think 72 divided by 10. So I could say 72 divided by 10 equals 7. Where is it? Yeah, here it is, 7.2. There's the last one. Can you see the last one? Exactly. It's 16 divided by 10 equals 1.6. That's what I'm reckoning. Yep. Oh, they did that one first. Okay, here's another puzzle. Alina has divided 92 by 10 on the chart below. I'm just going to call it the chart. Very tricky word, this one. Is she correct? Convince me. Convince me that she's correct. That means you've got to explain why you think she's right or why she might be wrong. So it's Alina. Maybe not Alina. Maybe think it's you. Maybe you. Put yourself in the situation. Maybe you have divided 92 by 10 on the chart. And is she correct? Well, at the moment, the answer that she's put down is, well, here I've got a 2. Well, let's change the color so we can see my pen. Here I've got 2, And here I've got 9. But they're both in the ones row. These are all ones. Bit worried about that. If she was dividing 92 by 10, well, yes, I think the 90 is correct, because if I have 92 divided by 10, the 90 divided by 10 would be 9. Yeah? So I could write this bit out and I could say 90 divided by 10 equals 9. That's correct. But if she's got a 2 here, and 2 divided by 10 equals 0.2, but she hasn't covered up 0.2. So I think she's correct with the 9. She's done the right thing. She's taken the 90 and she's divided it by 10 and ended up with 9. But the 2, she's divided, well, she hasn't divided it. She hasn't divided the 2 by 10. Let's see what they say. Alina is not correct. Okay, yeah, because she's only moved the tens counter, and the correct answer is 9.2. Yeah, so really what she needs to have is a little red disc. Should have been moved down and put over there. That's where it should be, which would show us 9.2. Okay, spiciest work. Have a go at these. Apologies if they're a little bit small for you to see. Looking at 4A, 4B, 5A, 5B. Remember, in a puzzle like this, it says find 3 possibilities. There's not one answer, there are many answers. So 5A, you can get 3 ticks for this, basically. 5B is the same. And the last screen for the spiciest, 8A and 8B, 9A and 9B. And again, you have to convince me. Explain your answer in a sentence, yeah? Brilliant. Well done, Year 3, Year 4. Good luck with that, and I will see you next time.